Hi, this is Deirdre Wills from the Visual Arts and Media Studies Department at Pasadena City College. You're probably listening to this and watching this because you are enrolled in one of my art history classes. Welcome aboard. Success at PCC requires you that you check email and be active on Canvas every week. That's true for your regular on-campus classes, but it's very true and super important for this new era we're in, where there are increasing numbers of distance education classes or online classes like this one. You'll need to check in probably daily, especially if you are enrolled in one of these classes in a summer or winter intersession. The other thing to keep in mind is Canvas, the main sort of platform through which I'll teach this class is fussy. You need to make sure that you have downloaded Google Chrome as your web browser in order to have Canvas perform correctly for you and this class. I've had students take exams using maybe Safari as their browser, and lo and behold, images won't download. They aren't able to see what they need to evaluate, to answer a test question. Sometimes students have homework and assignments they try to submit, and it doesn't go through. That's true as well. To succeed in this class, you need to use a real computer. A desktop computer, a laptop computer. Don't be tempted to use your phones, for instance. I know smartphones are wonderful things, but they will disappoint you. And even though there is a Canvas support team available that you can reach out to if you're having trouble with Canvas, they're still not going to be able to help you retrieve all that hard work. It'll just be a big waste of time and source of frustration. So again, 2 points here. Download Google Chrome to have Canvas perform for you in the best way possible, and use a real computer like a desktop or a laptop computer. Okay, so what I've done is already set up a little bookmark here on my main menu. Let me get a sip of water. With the Lancerpoint emblem there for Pasadena City College. Let's get on board here to the website. All right, we are in the month of June 2020, and as you can see, PCC is on board with Black Lives Matter, and that's a wonderful thing. From this main menu, what you'll find, of course, is tabs along the top and a couple of rows that you can see here. What we're going to do is move on to the login section here and first visit Lancerpoint. Lancerpoint is probably something you're familiar with already from registration, signing up for a class like this, checking on fees, that kind of, nitty-gritty admin kind of things as well. And it's here, of course, that you use your student ID or the e-identification issued to you by Pasadena City College and a password of your own creation to access Lancerpoint. That's what you'll do also for Canvas as well. So it's here you students would be able to see something, a means by which that you can access your email. I have an employee email tab. You would probably have a student one on this page as well. And that would be a way for you to check your email coming from PCC in general, maybe coming from me as well. Canvas can be accessed right here on the menu on the left. That's one way to get into Canvas. The other way to get into Canvas is from the main menu. So back to the main menu here, you can also log in right here, just directly to Canvas. And that'll get you right into where you need to deal with your classes and your professors. All right, let me see how my viewing window is here for this session. Oops, pardon. Move back to the Canvas menu here. There we go, opening up the scope of my margins here. Oops, not letting me look at too much here. Okay, so this is what I see on my menu. Your student menu may be slightly different, but what we see here is called the dashboard, just like we have on our cars, right? So all of the classes I've taught over the years are laid out in individual tiles, and of course you can see that some professors like me like to customize. So this is our class for summer 2020 here, and you can move these tiles and arrange them depending on your priority or how to get your attention with them as well. Okay. On the upper left, you see a little photo of myself. This is your profile here. Click on it, and if you haven't loaded an image, be sure to do that by first going to settings. And of course, for security purposes, I'm being asked to re-enter that information. We like security protocols. All right, I'm in. Okay, so here we have my settings here. Make sure your email address is exactly as you would wish it to be. In Canvas, what's different about Canvas versus Lancerpoint is that you can customize this a little bit more. So maybe you're more of a Gmail person. You could change this from your campus email at pasadena.edu to a Gmail account, for instance, or whatever device that you find is your main artery for email access. So you want to make sure that you're staying in the loop, staying in touch, and so pick something that would connect you to any information I'm trying to communicate with you during this very fast-paced summer school class. What else can I tell you? Profile picture, right here. If you haven't had a chance, click on the pencil, upload a picture of yourself. It doesn't have to be, this isn't a picture that's going to go down in history. It looks fairly large when you pull it up on your profile, but this is what pretty much everyone else is going to see. So make sure it's just a headshot. It's not a full body. Because it'll be hard to see your face that way, and that's what we're interested in. If you have privacy issues, it is not a requirement. If you'd rather maintain some anonymity, I think it's nice to see each other's faces, particularly when we do discussion groups. It would be nice to sort of feel like we're convening as a class of real human beings, all right? That's my hope anyway. All right, moving then on to notifications. On the very top of that menu, one thing you want to do is pick a few things that will prioritize instant notification to you about key events happening in the class. So this is where you select your preferences for notifications. Here are the different symbols. Notify me right away with a check mark. Send daily summary. Send weekly summary. Do not send me anything. The ones I'm interested in you checking off have to do with announcements. Right here, this is where I'm going to broadcast a class-wide email about information, assignments, heads up, that kind of thing. Go ahead and check on that, check mark that so that you are aware of those announcements as soon as they come in. Submission comments, right here, moving down the menu a little bit. That means that you've turned something in, whether it's an assignment or an exam, and I've given you some feedback. And of course, it's important to, absorb that feedback in a timely way so that you can improve and fine-tune your approach next time. The other thing that would be a good thing to check off as well are conversations. I may reach out to you and start a conversation. And of course, we can always meet through Zoom or just talk through email, but conversations is something you might want to click as well. Canvas can also alert you when grades come in. So I'm just looking for that right now. Here's grading. So you might want to click that because that's when you find out how you did on something. Everybody's always interested to see how they performed on any task assigned to them, right? All right, it's time to go back to the dashboard now. Again, that takes us to the main screen for Canvas. Let's see what our Canvas page looks like. Well, it's easy to recognize because of the Mona Lisa. That's a painting we'll be studying in this class by the famous painter of the Italian High Renaissance, Leonardo da Vinci. And here is a sample, although it's still under construction, but for at least the first week of class, this is what you're going to see. Let me close this for a minute. What you'll see here is our main page is made up of all of what you call modules or units. There will be a series of them. The first two are assigned to week 1. One has to do with orientation and check-in requirements. Super important so that you can cement your place, your enrollment in this class. If I don't hear from you on these check-in requirements, I'll assume you're not interested and are going to drop the class. And I'll drop you if you don't do the check-in requirements. Week 1 also is the beginning of our class. So here is where you would click to get information relating to our topics of discussion for lecture, quizzes, and exams. And that will all be explained on our syllabus, on my welcome video, and other support materials that you can find in the orientation. So the idea with these modules is you move through them one after the other in chronological order and complete that whole unit. And you'll see a summary at the end telling you what you've accomplished or what should have been accomplished. Then, as we begin week by week in our 6 weeks together, you'll find an additional 6 units, and that will outline expectations and to-dos, as well as contain all of the information that you would normally get in a real classroom setting with a lecture format. But of course, now we're distance ed, so everything is in the form of recorded video lectures or content pages. Sometimes I'll add links. There'll be a quiz each week to check for your understanding, as well as a larger, higher point value exam. Sometimes we'll have at least 5 of our 6 weeks. We're going to have discussions where we talk to each other, and that's how you get participation credit and additional points, as well as assignments. Those will include short essay assignments and other projects all assigned to you as well. So all of that will be explained in the orientation unit, where you begin as soon as you check in to our class. And then week 1 begins right away. This is summer session, guys. We are moving at a fast pace. And you will find that we have an exam coming up already on June 23rd. So this isn't this is for people who sign up for summer school. It is a fast pace, and with distance education, you have to be very self-motivated and guide yourself. It's not like showing up to class where you get in-person reminders. What I've done is laid out breadcrumbs for you to follow, and this is what you'll have to do to succeed. All right, guys, look for more content and more explanation in our orientation unit, and then begin